One. Okay, hello. I'm Dragon4gonBlitz. This is going to be a Alucard all bosses speedrun of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The goal is to beat every boss in the game while going fast as possible, so we can just go ahead and get started. There's not much to it other than that. 3, 2, 1, go. And at the very beginning, you're going to notice we're not actually going to be playing as Alucard. We're going to be playing as Richter here, the side character. This prologue sequence isn't part of the main game, but the movement and way that we go through the prologue does influence how you play the game as Alucard later on. What's going to be important here is that I want to kill Dracula as fast as possible, so I'm going to be using this Hydrostorm ability. It's the item crash of the Holy Water. I'm going to be throwing Holy Waters on the ground as well afterwards, and that has a chance to do massive amounts of damage. It's known as a damage stack. If you look at Dracula's health there, see how it started falling down a little bit quicker? That's a version of damage stacking. It's random how much damage a damage stack ends up doing, so we're just hoping for good damage stacks, and yeah, that was a pretty fast prologue. Pretty good so far. And it's just important to note that I want to end with 0 hearts, and I want to do specific types of movement, and that's just going to help me out with my stats for later in the run and the items that I start with as Alucard. And right away, we're actually going to be using one of those items for a glitch coming up. So you start with a lot of really powerful equipment in this game, and then there's a cutscene with the Grim Reaper, aka Death, where all of that equipment is taken away from you. What we're going to be doing is known as a reverse shift line glitch, and that glitch is going to allow us to keep all of our powerful gear by skipping the room where Death normally takes away your items. So I just have to be careful going through some of these hallways to help set up the glitch. The way that the glitch works is it essentially manipulates where Alucard gets sent after a screen transition, and we're going to be setting it up with a screen freeze, and that screen freeze is specifically going to be a level up off of this warg here, while using the neutron bomb item that we got from the prologue sequence. I'm going to use map buffering to help set it up, which makes it just a tad bit easier, because it's kind of a tight window, and there it is, we got it. Nice. It's going to flash the screen right there. That was Death's room that flashed for like a frame there, and we just skipped past that room because we actually loaded us in the next load zone over. And yeah, you might be more familiar with like a different version of Death Skip, which uses like a damage boost to fly through the room and skip the cutscene that way. As it turns out, that version of Death Skip, while being very popular, is not actually faster for a speedrun like this. Speaking of going fast, though, you might notice my main form of movement is actually a backdash movement with Alucard. It's known as backdash canceling. This specific type of backdash canceling is known as shield dashing. Where what I'm doing is I'm doing a backdash and then canceling the backdash by pulling out my shield, essentially alternating the buttons over and over and over again. And one of the common misconceptions about speedrunning this game that the only way to go fast is just mash those 2 buttons as fast as possible over and over and over again, when in reality it ends up being faster in general if you just have a smooth rhythm with your shield dashing, as well as just emphasize like good movement, like cutting your jump short, killing things efficiently with your powerful gear, and not getting hit. And speaking of killing things efficiently, and speaking of keeping our gear, this is going to be our first boss fight of the game. And just like that, they are dead. Like, this gear is extremely powerful. It's late game gear. So a lot of the boss fights in this game are actually quite trivial compared to doing something like a glitchless speedrun. But even then, those boss fights are still relatively simple. So this category, and in this game in general, it's much more an emphasis on like clean, fast movement, as opposed to like doing difficult boss fights or anything like that. So combat in this game is much more simple for a speedrun, but the movement is where the complexity really comes in. I guess we might as well start talking about what it is that we're doing at the beginning part of this run. Like, what is our goal? Our goal is actually going to be to get the Bat Relic. That is the main form of movement. The Bat Relic allows us to do stuff like wing smashing, which is going to be our fastest form of movement for the rest of the run. And the way we get there is actually through getting the Mist Relic, which real quick I'm going to have you look in the top left-hand corner of your screen. This room is very important. There's a statue that's moving here, and that statue moves in and out of our way every other minute. And the fastest we can come back here is like under 8 minutes. So that's the time that I'm shooting for, is to get back to that room in under 8 minutes. And that's known as the clock rush. And going to that through that room where that statue is blocking is required to get to where the Bat Relic is, essentially. And the reason why we can't go up there yet is because we don't have enough height with our singular jump to make it onto that ledge to move past it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab the Wolf Relic, which is over in the outer wall. And the Wolf Relic gives you options like dive kicking after untransforming from the Wolf, as well as doing slope jumps to gain extra height. So both of those things are going to be shown off with the Wolf relatively quickly after acquiring the Wolf Relic. So yeah, the main like first 8 minutes of the run is to basically grab the Wolf as fast as possible and then come back to that clock room, so you can move on with the rest of the run. And if you do it in under 8 minutes, you're not losing any time at all. It's the fastest possible cycle you can get there. Coming up is another boss fight, Doppelganger. This fight might have given a lot of people trouble as a kid, you know? Like playing through the game casually, you might remember this guy just like, he has like a big sword, he throws stuff at you, he reads your inputs, it's super cheap. We're actually going to be killing him extremely quickly because he's one of the few bosses that's affected by the stopwatch sub-weapon. You use the stopwatch, he just freezes still and you just wail on him until he's dead. Very easy fight. From here, we're going to be doing more of the shield dashing movement as well as some platforming to get up to where the Wolf Relic is. It's locked behind, it's locked behind a elevator, so I have to just flip a switch to open the door to that elevator. Yep, there's that Wolf Relic right there. It's inaccessible right now, so I'm going to go out of my way to unlock it. There it is. I'm also going to go out of my way to kill this guy because I really don't like him. And I'm going to reload the room and maybe go for a floor clip here. It's frame perfect? Nah, I didn't get it. All right. Well, we reload the room anyways, just so the elevator spawns at the top there, making sure that we can get out of here quicker. And now that we have the Wolf Relic, I'm going to be showing off a slope jump to get a specific item that's down here. Normally you can't acquire this item without like a double jump or something, but we're going to manipulate, there we go, how the Wolf interacts with slopes to gain extra height. And that garnet we're going to use later for a glitch in the library. So yeah, another interesting tidbit about the Wolf, other than it allowing you to dive kick out of the air and doing slope jumps, the other thing that it allows you to do is actually just run, like its normal Wolf movement. As it turns out, it's actually quite fast. It's almost as fast as doing the shield dashing here, except it also maintains momentum while in the air, where Alucard does not maintain the shield dashing momentum while in the air. So it ends up being faster a lot of the time. To transform into Wolf during sections where you can chain the Wolf's movement all the way through long sections, stuff like this. The only thing is like you don't want to get hit, because if you get hit as the Wolf, it untransforms you, and then you have to like move slowly as Alucard again. So I'm just going to try and keep this movement going as long as I can. Jumping over that table is very tough, so it still ends up saving time to transform into the Wolf there, so. And I should be coming back to this clock room in under 8 minutes, just as I said before. So we're essentially on world record pace here because there's no way to really save a lot of like more time other than this, because we do have to wait for this clock cycle. And here I'm just setting up for a Wolf jump where I will untransform and then dive kick off that candle as soon as the statue moves out of my way. There it is, dive kick off the candle. There we go, just enough height to make it onto that ledge, and on we go. And then into the next section, which is going to be going towards the Colosseum. Here I just have to do some tight movement to avoid fighting these guys, because it is faster to skip them than to try and kill them. There we go. More tight platforming and shield dashing, and we are in the Colosseum. The Colosseum is really important because it has the Mist Relic available after fighting the main boss of the area, Minotaur and Werewolf. And the Mist Relic is 100% required in order to get to the Bat Relic, because the Mist Relic lets you get past certain gates. And the Bat Relic is locked behind one of those mist gates. Oop, there we go. Just going to manipulate these guys' AI to get past them. Nice. There we go. Funny thing about the Minotaur and Werewolf fight is they actually are going to be standing still, even though I'm not going to use the stopwatch on them. That's because they're waiting for this cutscene that I just skipped to play out before their AI activates. But because I skipped the cutscene, they're actually waiting patiently for me, and I just get to hit them the whole time while that's happening. A little bit of a developer oversight there. And here we go, we got the Mist Relic, but before we leave, we did get a library card on the way into that boss fight. We're not going to use it yet. Instead, we're going to go out of our way for one of the most powerful weapons in the game, which is the Shield Rod, which is conveniently right down here. I'm going to use Soul Steel to clear this screen, and then I'm going to get a damage boost off of one of those bone muskets. There we go. Use the library card, which is going to teleport me to the library, which is where we're going to find that relic. But before we go there, I'm going to do another bit of wolf movement here into another dive kick, but this time off of an enemy. This is known as the book jump. It's a little tricky. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. Very tight on that book jump there, and it allows us to get up here where we get the fairy card relic. And the fairy card relic is required for a glitch that we are about to do that involves that garnet that we got earlier as well. So we're going to take this fairy card, and it's going to allow us to do the shop glitch. And the shop glitch lets us sell essentially infinite amounts of those garnets that we had earlier. So let me see if I can get the glitch. There it is. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to sell this garnet as I equip it, which underflows it to 255 garnets, and I'm going to sell as many as I need to get the duplicator as well as a mana prism and a couple of other useful items. There we go. Now we're going to activate the shield rod with the Alucard shield, which is one of the most powerful weapon combos in the game. I'm going to put on a mana prism. And the duplicator allows us to use infinite amounts of single-use items, so I can use infinite of those mana prisms that I got, which is very useful for using the mana prism for iframes, because every time you use a potion, you're invincible for a short amount of time. Speaking of invincibility, the shield rod itself also gives you invincibility, as well as doing the max amount of damage and being a multi-hit attack. So this is going to be another boss fight, and it's done. Just like that, the shield rod completely trivializes boss fights from here on out, and it's going to be our main form of doing damage for the rest of the run. Now, we get to see one of the hardest tricks in the game. It's going to be a floor clip using the wolf, and I'm going to be using map buffering to make it a little bit more consistent. Oop, missed the missed gate right there. This is extremely tight. Let me see if I can get it. Ooh, I was a little bit off there. There we go. There it is. Second try. Still faster, still faster. Nice. Oops, stuck in the floor here. And one of the things that's really nice about doing that floor clip is the fact that it allows us to skip out of the library through the floor, which is faster than going the other way around. And the reason why we're moving so fast on the ground is I'm actually doing a spell known as the Wing Smash. This is the fastest form of movement with the bat. It costs 8 MP to do the Wing Smash, so that's why it's really great for us to have infinite mana prisms, so I can refill my MP every time I do a Wing Smash input. And the Wing Smash input itself is you hold the jump button as well as doing a 3/4 circle motion on the joystick, and you do that over and over and over again to continue your Wing Smash chain. If you drop the Wing Smash chain, it will transform you back into the Alucard form, which is slower overall. But yeah, you can see that room was completely over with extremely quickly. A lot of fast movement you can do with the bat here. And this is going to be one of the tightest rooms in the game as far as bat movement. Here I'm going to do a damage boost, set up a mana prism, and let's see if I can get this movement. Nice. Fitting through that gap there is extremely tight. Alright, one more Wing Smash. Just enough MP for that section. There we go. Not bad at all. Literally ending with 0 MP there. And the thing that's scary about ending with 0 MP is if you have the shield rod or the shield out while you have 0 MP, you likely will lose your shield rod spell being applied to the Alucard shield. And you have to reapply the shield rod spell, which is really slow. You have to go into your menus and all that stuff. Here, I went out of my way for another movement relic, which is the Leap Stone. This gives me the ability to double jump as well as dive kick. And as you can see right here, I'm taking that dive kick momentum and preserving it while transforming into the bat. And I'm going to be using this everywhere. So a lot of the time, when you want to gain a lot of speed quickly, you need to transform into the bat to just start doing Wing Smashes. But you could also move very quickly while transforming into the bat. And it just starts off your speed very quickly that way. Here's another boss fight, completely trivialized by using the shield rod. And there we go. And now we have another out-of-bounds glitch that we're going to be doing. This one's specific to the chapel itself. It requires a little bit of setup. Oops. Screwed up the setup there. There we go. And this allows us to get to the Alrox's quarters quickly. It is frame perfect, and I got the right frame right there. This uses the Heart Refresh to freeze the screen, and yeah, you essentially go out of bounds by doing that. It's a very weird glitch. It only works on that part of the chapel there. And now we are in Alrox's quarters. And as you can see, more bat movement here. Very, very fast flying to get around in this area. Nice. Oh, made it through that gap there too. Very tight movement. So yeah, a lot of this game, it's really just about finding the optimal routes while flying with the bat and controlling your momentum with the bat. Because the bat itself, you can steer it up and down while you're doing wing smashes, but you also have to be aware of the wing smash input itself. So you have to do the wing smash input, steer the bat up or down, and then do the wing smash input again within about a second. And then that will determine like the angle that the wing smash is like flying at, as well as it'll allow you to keep the wing smash chain going. And top runners are like very, very good at keeping these wing smash chains going. Like see here, I had to maneuver going both up and down through that stair section while keeping the chain going. Here, there's another chance for an out-of-bounds zip. It's similar kind of to the one that we did with the wolf, except it uses the bat form instead. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, so close. It saves like 6 seconds if you can do it. Otherwise, it's not worth setting up to go for it again, but it would have just skipped having to slowly descend through that room. Instead, it zips you to the bottom of the floor. Here we're coming up on our last relic that we collect for the entirety of the run. This is our last movement relic. It's the gravity boots. It allows you to do a really high jump upwards, and that's going to be very useful for vertical sections, and you can combine that with bat movement as well. But right after that, we've collected this last relic, and we're going for another floor clip. This one is required to get to the caverns quickly, so I'm going to be setting that up right now. There we go. There it is. Nice. First try. That floor clip is just about as hard as the library floor clip as well. They're both very difficult, but we use the map to help buffer our inputs to make sure that clips like that are actually reasonable for a human being to do. Otherwise, it requires like multiple frame perfect inputs, basically. Moving on into the next boss fight, which is going to be the succubus fight. Normally, this fight is required to beat the game in like a casual playthrough, because this fight unlocks the gold ring item, and that item is required to get the holy glasses. The gold ring and the silver ring together are required to get the holy glasses, and then the holy glasses is required in order to save Richter. But what I'm actually going to be doing during this run is a glitch that allows us to save Richter without using the holy glasses. So I can just skip grabbing that item altogether, and we're only here to kill the boss, and that's it. And here's going to be the first use of the gravity boots in combination with bat movement. Very slick movement, allowing us to quickly gain height and leave this area. And then coming up is another glitch. So many glitches in the first castle of this speedrun. We're going to be doing a glitch that deloads the boss fight, or the boss door, for the Scylla fight, and then we're going to be using the door by respawning it, clipping us into the ground, allowing us to leave the fight earlier than intended. So I just have to kill the boss while she's off screen, deload the door. Oh, I didn't actually get it. Wow, was that too far away? It's very, very rare that you don't actually get that out of bounds. It's very easy to do, so I must have screwed up the positioning. It's position dependent, so it's fine. You can still just leave the room normally. Oh, wow, nice. That movement is really, really tight. I can't believe I got that. This whole section requires very good control of the height of the wing smash itself, because you don't want to touch any ceilings or awkward, like, sloped terrain while you're wing smashing, because what it ends up doing is it ends up sticking you or zipping you in the direction of that terrain. This is known as a terrain boost. I'll be showing off intentional uses of terrain boosts in this run, but in this section you don't actually want any of those terrain boosts, because it'll fly you into terrain that you don't actually want to hit, and if you hit terrain straight on while wing smashing, you'll bonk, and it'll force you to untransform, which is slow. Another thing that's important to note about like the speed of these kinds of runs is, like, when you're doing boss fights, you're just optimizing getting to the boss as quick as possible, which is why you see me doing a dive kick into the bat transformation, so I can just get inside the boss's hitbox with my shield out as fast as possible. Here is my favorite glitch / out of bounds in the game. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. I'm going to be clipping through the floor here using the toadstool item. There it is, nice. It clips you into the floor, and you touch the load zone for the catacombs from above. which in if you were playing on the PlayStation version, it gives you these really glitched out graphics, which is really cool. Anyways, but yeah, this gets us into the catacombs where we're going to be coming up on the very last boss of the first castle. Oops, wow, barely missed that. Here we are. And just like that, boss is done before he even finishes spawning in. Gonna be using that library card to get us out of here, so that way we can set up going into the second castle. Alright. This is the movement we would have had to do if we didn't do the library floor clip earlier. It's just a little bit slower to go all the way around, zigzagging through the library as opposed to just flying through the floor. Unfortunately, there's no floor clip that we can really do there that's reliable to get us back through there. Alright, going back up the elevator here, and the next glitch that we're going to be doing is going to be that Richter skip that I was talking about earlier. That essentially, what I'm essentially going to be doing is I'm going to be entering the room where Richter is, where the boss fight normally is for Richter, or the cutscene I should say, because it's not really a boss fight. It's not considered a boss fight in this game. But where that cutscene is with Richter, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be entering the room in a way where the game doesn't know that we've actually entered the room, and it puts us in the default version of the room, which is Richter being saved. I almost got it there. It's a very tight jump. I'm gonna go for a backup. This backup is also frame perfect. There we go. Nice. And there we go. We enter the room where Richter's already been saved, and then I skip the cutscene as I fly by the actual cutscene where Richter's being saved, and we can just move on into the second castle. No need for holy glasses or any of that side questy stuff. And now, things start to become a little bit more straightforward. The rest of the, we have everything we need to beat the game at this point. But instead of just going straight to Dracula and beating the game, there are still some bosses that we have to fight in the second castle. So the main meat of the second castle is going to be us going out of our way to kill the bosses and then getting to Dracula himself and beating the game. These boss fights, some of them drop these relics known as Vlad relics, and they are required in a normal playthrough to beat the game, but that's fine. Go for the backup here. We actually don't need those Vlad relics. We're going to be doing another reverse shift line similar to the one that we did to skip death, but instead it's going to allow us to skip into the area where Dracula is without needing the Vlad relics themselves. All right, nice little zigzag movement there to avoid that pillar that would have made us bonk. It's a little tight, but it's very, very cool to see it get done. And this is going to be an example of those terrain boosts I was talking about earlier, because I'm going to be flying along these sloped terrain here in these zigzag stairs room. It's a very nice use of the terrain itself to help us gain height quicker, because otherwise we would have to use the bat's normal vertical acceleration on the wing smash, which is a little bit slower than just instantly accelerating upwards. And here's another boss fight. Done, easy peasy. All right, moving onward to the next section. Oops, that movement's a little tricky. And yeah, this is another great room to show off the wing smash chaining itself. If you look at my MP, it's slowly going down. Every time you see it go down, that's me doing another wing smash input. Now I'm trying to chain these wing smashes as far as I can without dropping them in order to gain as much horizontal distance as possible very quickly. And here is another example of using the gravity boots to gain vertical height quickly. In fact, we're actually going to be cutting the gravity jump short so that we end up in the middle of the room. We use the mist to do this. And being in the middle of the room, make sure that we don't hit any of the jagged terrain sticking out the sides here, allowing us to go straight into the room with Doppelganger. Hey, remember this guy? Yeah, he's not much of a problem still. Still just use the stopwatch to kill him quickly. But yeah, from here on out, it's just going to be a combination of all of the different movement techniques that you've seen at this point. And yeah, this would be a great time if you guys have any questions for me to try and answer them. Am I gonna bonk? Okay, I didn't bonk. Whoa! Oh, nice. Got the quick kill on Death. Because Death is going to run away as you hit him, and if you're able to hit him and push him in the right direction, you can actually kill him quickly before he gets away. This is going to be some more tight movement. Oh, no. Okay, let's go for the backup. Nice. That was another example of cutting the gravity jump short with the mist. Oops. That's fine. What about the Maria fight? The Maria fight doesn't exist in this version of the game. That's a Saturn exclusive. Or I think you also can fight her in the PSP version. I don't know. But the PSP version and the version that we are playing on right now are different versions. I guess it is important to note that this is the Xbox 360 version of the game, which is the fastest version of the game. It has access to all the fast versions of glitches, as well as the fastest load times and the least amount of lag. Alright, this boss fight, you want to hit him in the top of the head because you do more damage with the shield at the top of the head. And that's like the major optimization for that fight. But yeah, if you're ever interested in like how speedruns for this game work or the different variations between the versions, all of that is explained on the speedrun.com page for this game. So speedrun.com/Soten. We also have a ton of different guides available for people that want to learn how to speedrun this game. I've done tutorials specifically of this category that exist on my YouTube. So if you go to like youtube.com/DragonBlitz1, that's my YouTube channel. And if you just search on my YouTube channel like all bosses tutorial, you'll find my tutorial for the entirety of this run if you want to learn it. I've also done tutorials for any percent, which is a quicker category, and a more popular category. But there's also like the main guides page, so speedrun.com/Soten/guides. You can find stuff there. And to finish talking about, I guess, version differences, the Xbox 360 version plays exactly the same as the PlayStation version as far as like version exclusive glitches and routing for speedrunning versus the Xbox version. This just has faster load times and less lag. So if you wanted to learn this game on like emulator or something like that, or on the original PlayStation, that's still extremely possible. And it's the same exact route as I'm doing here, just with some minor lag optimizations and stuff like that. More gravity boots chaining here. Oops. Mistimed my gravity boot. Jump. There we go. Yeah, we're coming up on just a handful of bosses left for the second castle before the end of this run. It's a very, very quick run, all things considered. Like the fact that we're doing so much content in such a short amount of time, a big portion of that is due to all of the craziness that we do to set up killing bosses quickly in the first castle. The Alchemedon's not much of a boss. He does stick around for a long time, though, after you kill him. There we go, leave the room as fast as we can. Oh no! Doors in this game love to, like, suck you in if you aren't far enough away from them. It's kind of funny. Alright. You never want to get stuck in the slow door opening animation. More terrain boosts, and we need to avoid all of these enemies while doing so. Nice. That's another example of cutting the gravity jump a little bit short, just to save a tiny bit of time there. It's a small optimization, but those add up. This is an interesting boss fight. You get to kind of like juggle the bosses into each other. that. It's pretty cool. It's one of the more unique boss fights that you're going to find in this game. Considering, for the most part, you just walk up to them with the shield out and kill them instantly. Alright, and now we're coming up on the last boss fight in just a little bit. Here is a huge example of that terrain boost. Like, see how fast I'm moving upwards because of flying up against the sloped ceiling there? Very, very convenient. And here is the last boss fight in the game. Here I'm going to dive kick off of the boss to stay in his hitbox as much as possible while the shield is out. If you don't get that dive kick out, you actually fall down and you don't kill him fast enough. And then you have to find a different way to get back up there to kill him. It's a little slower if you do it that way, but just a nice little optimization. Alright, and we are coming up on the final trick of the run, which is going to be that reversed shift line to get us into Dracula's chamber without requiring the Vlad relics. Just gotta position this heart refresh movement here. It's 2-pixel window, so I'm trying to set it up. Dude, it is brutal. I'm trying to set this up right now. There we go. There we go. And I'm gonna use the map to help buffer it, just to make it a little bit easier here. If you fail that skip, you have to wait out the heart refresh animation, which is very short, or very long, I mean. And we are in the ceiling here, flying through the ceiling, past into the save room, above where you would normally have to be. There's like a whole thing that opens up once you, a whole cinematic that plays once you've collected all the Vlad relics. So being able to skip that animation is optimal overall, and doing that glitch helps us do that. And we don't have to slowly collect all the Vlad relics. And these are the final bosses of the game. I just want to say thank you so much for letting me showcase this run here at GDQ. It's been a blast. Feels like it just flew by super quick. And again, if you're interested in learning more about Soten speedrunning in general, speedrun.com/Soten is going to have a ton of different stuff. There is a Discord you can join in there, the Long Library Discord. It has a ton of information there, a lot of community members that you could talk to about speedrunning the game. It's also where we host the randomizer community for this game. This game does have a very well fleshed out randomizer if you want to learn more about that as well. And here is time.
Go back whence you came. Trouble the soul of my mother no more.
Nice. GG's. That was a good run. Pretty good run, all things considered.
How is it that I've
A little over a minute off the world record, which in this category where a lot of things can go wrong is actually really good.
Sarcasm. For what profit is it to a man if he...
Yeah, I think the pacing of this commentary is pretty good, all things considered.
Matthew 16.
I'm still going a little more in depth than I would like, but
Tell me.
that's usually. I think the only reason I'm doing that is because I don't want there to be like downtime where nobody's saying anything. But I could probably get a little more comfortable with having some dead air, especially in like a normal GDQ run where there's going to be like donations and stuff. This run there aren't any donations, so I don't have to worry about that.
Forgive me. Farewell, my son.